it makes you a better human in a lot of ways. More mature and, I don't know, wiser, I guess. I don't know, I'm like messing with these like super smooth surfaces, you know? So I've been trying to like sand them as smooth as I can because the gradients and like, they just look different. They look better when you do it that way. It's a noticeable difference, you know? Especially if you see it in person. On the internet, it's hardly different, you know? You can almost like not even tell. I don't know. It's been nice to not worry about putting out art on the internet like right now. I'm not really tripping on it. It's weird. I feel like, I don't know, I was like in such a hurry, such a rush to make work before. And now that everything's like slowed down, it's like nice. But yeah, I feel I've noticed like a lot of people just sharing more things that they might not otherwise share because things are a little more boring now, maybe. A little more like, I don't know. You know, there isn't like a lot of like things to be hyped about, I guess. So people are getting hyped off of like littler, smaller things, which is kind of cool. Yeah, we're like living online more and more because of this. There's a lot of live feed music stuff that's been really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really been sharing that much. It's like, I don't feel like a need to right now. I don't think that because this thing is happening, it's a need to not share work. I think it's more of for me, it's more just a personal thing. I think I was also like sort of in a place where I was going to take a break anyway. Or not necessarily like a full-on break, but like sort of handle some other things I needed to do and sort of just like regroup and decide what I'm trying to do with my work for the future. But I think there's more of a need for it now than ever because people are like looking for things to keep them like sane, you know, and like I think seeing art in your feed is a little bit of like an uplifting like show like human, you know, nature. They're like, oh, this is still happening in spite of all this, you know? And also just to remind people that, you know, art happens regardless. And that's a cool thing about art too, is that I don't think artists, like a lot of artists, don't really care about, you know, the things that come with it as much as they care about creating. So I think it's a good thing to put out work right now. I think it's a good thing to put out work that's not about this thing, to be honest. This thing is like already so all-consuming that it's so obvious to make work about it, that people making work about the virus has been a little bit, unless it's like really clever, has been a little bit like, okay, but you know, I get it. It's strange when you have an audience like versus not having an audience, because when you don't give a shit about what you say. You're just like, you can just be an asshole and no one cares and no one's gonna, you know, judge you. Or the people who are judging you might be like your, you know, 200 closest friends that you've known since you were in kindergarten or something. So it's not really like a lot at stake there. But if you're talking to an audience of thousands of people, you got to be a little bit more mindful of what you're saying. It's interesting once you have this audience how much more you realize is at stake. So you kind of, it makes you a better human in a lot of ways. More mature and I don't know, wiser, I guess. The reality is that there's like such an interconnectedness now with everything, especially with the internet. And especially with everything being so visible, that you're just accountable. You know, whatever you did or whatever you said, like you have to be accountable for it, you know? But then, you know, the people who have a lot of courage to say things that are not necessarily easy to hear, or maybe are things that need to be said, you know, they might not get rewarded in the present moment, but maybe in the future it has some kind of effect that they didn't foresee. But yeah, that is a tough thing to do. You have to be really sure of yourself.